Okay, everybody, this week I cut some jasper up, some pretty cool looking jasper. Some green, some blue, some red, some yellow, colors, you name it, the colors are in it. Beautiful looking stuff. So let's take a look at some and I'll show you what I cut. Alright, here's the outside piece off this first stone I cut. Kind of hard to tell, but it's got some greens, got some pinks. It's just got that brown, but as you cut into it, it got interesting real fast. So you got some green and pink up on top. You got some nice swirl on the bottom. And then this orange and yellow kind of mix up in the middle. Not too bad. Okay, and the next piece in. Pretty interesting, that green and that pink agate mix up on top is just getting crazy. The swirling of that yellow and orange, a little agate, tiny agate there. This is the next piece in, and yeah, this this yellow and orange is really starting to get crazy looking. You just see that agatization going on. Getting some bright colors. Still have that green and pink in the corner. I'm losing focus here. But yeah, nice piece. Okay, here's the next one in, and yeah, wow, right? This thing is getting wild looking. Can't even describe all that's happening in there. And just that little bit of orange and yellow, the real subtle mix, is just about gone, and it just gets this crazy look. I'm gonna flip that over and yeah, wow. Right? See if I can hang this squirt bottle up without knocking anything over. And look at that crazy looking agate banding going across the bottom. And this kind of breccia up on top. And it's got another thin line of almost like agate going on, and then just the overall would you look at that crazy looking stone. Wow, that is just nuts. Okay, now here's the next one in, and like, what is happening in this stone? Look at that. I don't know if I can get it to focus here. Focus. And that's just so pretty. And just that little center piece, just staying that kind of real mild mix. And then the rest of this just gets crazy. Like, what is going on in there? Would you look at that piece? Here, I'll flip that over. Now here's the other side. And again, here's that little, what's left of just that real subtle look, but going not focusing, but the rest of it, you know, wow. That is some crazy looking piece of jasper. Or at this point, I might start calling this an agate, because it's looking more like an agate than it is a jasper. Wow. That is crazy. All right, now here's the heart. This is where I had to put it in a slab grabber and then flip it over. But you can just see how nutty this piece is. There's just so much. Just look at that. It's just swirly, crazy, swirly, agatey, melty glob of rock. Whatever might have happened to form this. You wish this would happen to a lot more rocks. Just look at that. You know, could you cut this up and make cabs out of it? I mean, wow, it almost seemed like you wouldn't want to touch this, because, you know, because it's just too good as is to cut up into pieces. It's just too nice of a stone. And of course, this is going the other way now from the center, and you know, it just doesn't quit. I mean, look at the colors and the layers and the patterns. Although you are starting to get a hole in the middle, which is all right. This side didn't have that, but lose focus again. But yeah, wow. Wow, wow, wow. What a crazy looking rock. Unbelievable. Okay, here's some more. And you know, what is going on? Look at that band of green with the pink. A thin little agate purple going underneath. Bright reds, pinks. That's actually a clear chalcedony pocket there. The green and yellows and pinks. Just crazy. And there you can see this softer one little patch of some kind of softer material in the inside. Unbelievable. All right, here's the last piece I'm showing you, and actually this is the first piece I cut off. And you can see this is dynamite looking. And the reason I bought this stone is when I seen this stone in a box of jaspers, I thought, you know, this is what it looked like. This is what I kind of looked at. And of course it wasn't wet. It was dry, but You know, I seen some pretty interesting pattern, so I thought, yeah, I'll take a risk on it. So yeah, so I'm glad I got this rock, because it is a beauty. And just in case you're wondering, oh yeah, she's plenty hard too. Polish up, just beautiful. Alright, here's the next day I started whacking on, and it kind of had like a bluish green, so with some purple and some reds in there too. So this is another one definitely I thought this has got to be cool. Look at that blue, that's beautiful looking blue down in the bottom there. Blues and some teals, and then mixed in with some reds and some green, going to green up on top with the teal. But yeah, what a pretty piece. Of course, here's the next piece in. And yeah, it's got that kind of a red, reddish purple in the middle. But yeah, it's got some nice looking blue and green. And just a crazy pattern. Nice mix. See a little green with the red there. Nice looking patterns. Alright, here's the next slice in, and yeah, you can just see this thing just gets crazy looking. Now you're almost starting to get some red looking agate there with the blue and the purple and the green, and yeah, wow, look at that. Pretty nice. That'll make some pretty bright cabs. Beautiful looking piece. Alright, here's the next piece in. Obviously you could see on that last one I had that fracture, and doesn't take away from the beauty of it. Just bummer, you gotta work around them fractures, but that's part of rocking. But still, just beautiful colors, beautiful pattern, and yeah, sound of glass, which means, of course, she'll polish up just fine. Let's see if I can. Oh, a little bit too far on that. Yeah. But yeah, wow, nice. All right, here's the next one in. You just see just all the craziness going on in there. And this thing is just mixed colors. Crazy looking pattern. Beautiful. All right, this is as far as I got on the stone as far as cutting it, but you know, you can just, wow, what a beautiful piece. And yeah, just a big chunker left. And again, this is kind of what I was looking at. Kind of had a nice greenish purple look to it. There's a really good face, so right away you could just tell this was going to be a beauty, and of course it was, or it is. Okay, now this piece I could see some agate in there. You know, you could see some agate along the bottom. Had some good color, had this nice color, plus it had this big quartzy area up on top, so I figured I'd take a gamble on it. And yeah, it doesn't do anything different once you're inside of it. Looks like just like on the outside, but it does have some cool looking patterns in there. It's got that agate. It's got some nice color mixes. This whole bottom here looks pretty soft, but you know, all right looking. Now here's the next chunk in. And it kind of stays the same. Got some, they say, these agate bands going across the top, right underneath that, those crystals. And it kind of does that kind of strange pattern on the bottom. Get some nice color mix there. Another agate forming there. This is kind of nice color pattern, kind of nice color mix up there. Looks kind of interesting. And there's the next slice. You can see how big that chalcedony pocket, or wasn't a pocket, it's on the outside, but how big it's getting. It's starting to take over that whole top layer though. But the rest of it's pretty cool looking. Kind of got that like a speckled pattern, more of a grainier of a kind of like a quartzite or something maybe, with some agate band running through it. Pretty good chunk here too. And we kept cutting on this one. It kind of stays the same. Some of the agate bandings started to get bigger and smaller. That top speckled patterns kind of, starting to overheat. Okay, here's another slab off there, and like I say, you can see the translucency of this, at least, you know, anywhere where the agate is. And again, it kind of continues on with the same color pattern through the whole stone. It's got this kind of neat looking green, some red, some good agate, a lot of you know, crap down on the bottom. This up on top, like you say, it's kind of interesting, more like a mossy, oh, can't get that close, pattern. So, and of course I won't show you every slice, but I got a lot of slices off of this, and again, it's, you know, it's a hefty stone. This is still, you know, got a lot of life left in it. You can see the orange or yellow kind of stays in that chalcedony top. That agate band seems to run just about all the way through, getting wider and narrower as it goes, and then it just stays red on the bottom, and then kind of like the greenish color on top. So yeah, definitely a lot of life left in this stone. Okay, here's a little piece of yellow. I just took one slice off of here, just cut it open. I tried to cut here, and of course the saw kept kicking out. I was trying to cut too thin, but you know, as yellow jasper goes, it's got some interesting pattern. Squiggly, snaky lines. I don't know if that's translucent or not. Maybe not really. And of course the big chunk. Like I said, it's got a pretty interesting pattern with that kind of snaky, wormy looking stuff. Pretty bright yellow. Here's another big chunk of red. It's covered in caliche, so it's hard to tell. Just on this one end it was opened up, so I gave her a cut, and yeah, pretty neat. It's got that vibrant red band going through there. It's got some green mixed in there, a little bit yellow, some purples and stuff like that. And again, you can see a lot of green on this side mixed in, which is kind of, I guess, Christmassy, right? Christmas is over. And again, a really, really big hunk here. Be able to cut on this for a while. Seems to be semi-hard. So, should make some nice cabs. Now this chunk seemed to be a piece of seam agate. And sure, yeah, what do you know? Nice seam agate. Pretty cool on top. It's got some interesting stuff going on there. Not too hard, but that's that big band running through the middle. That's pretty soft. I mean, you can always include that in your cab, but you know, if you are, I wouldn't use much of it because it's gonna just be real brittle. But the rest of it's pretty neat looking. It's got some good agate banding on it. I just cut that one piece off there just to see if it was worthwhile, and yeah, definitely worthwhile. Here's another big hunk of green. I didn't know what to really expect, so I started cutting into it, and yeah, it's kind of interesting actually. You know, I was thinking it was going to be just a straight green. It's got some blue in there, a lot of white mottled in. So, whoop, fly. So yeah, I just cut that little tiny piece off of it. I should have kept cutting more on this. Nice looking piece. Okay, now this piece, you know, had that, you know, that's dry. It's completely dry. It had that real bright red thing, a little bit of pink in there. So I cut her open, and yeah, wow, surprise, surprise. It's got that cool looking deep red on top, and then it's got this purple surrounded by this blue. And it's got that blue all over in there. It's got a little red and that blue again. You can see that blue is kind of neat how it's going around that purple or pink, whatever you want to call it. And then this is almost kind of almost a green, but more of a cream. But yeah, that blue in there, it's pretty. I like that. So here's a slab I cut. Like I say, on this one end, this red seems to be getting thicker and thicker, and the blue and the purple on the bottom. And that's, of course, that's the end I just happened to be cutting off on, and it's got this real soft, muddy spot in there. But other than that, some good material to work anyhow. Of course, here's a couple more chunks I took off. And again, this one you can really see that blue stuck all over in there. And then, of course, that red band on top. And that red is pretty well looking as well. And then this one's got again, a real big with that purple with the blue surrounding it. And it's semi-hard. You know, not super duty hard, but you know, hard enough, I guess. And of course, here's a cab I made with the red stuff. I didn't make anything with the blue. Actually, I didn't make anything with anything else because, you know, as everybody knows, I've been really super busy. So I did make some other cabs, but not of anything I cut of this material, just some random stuff I cut. But yeah, it kind of looks pretty cool. Let's see if we can zoom that in a little bit more. Real bright, striking red. Maybe I get a different angle on that. Change the color a little bit. But yeah, pretty nice. Yeah, hey, what'd you think? So yeah, when does a stone get too amazing to cut into a cab? Like, you don't want to cut it up because, you know, geez, you know, you want to wreck it. I mean, it's so beautiful the way it is that could you make yourself cut it up? Sure, a lot of people would be like, yeah, it's just a rock, you know, whatever, cut it up. I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't done anything with it yet, and maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't know. I joked in the past, like afraid to cab, like, yeah, stuff like that. You're afraid to cab because, you know, it looks so good the way it is. You just don't want to cut it up and turn it into cabs, even though it would make really nice cabs. It makes a really nice slab, like, you know, so. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Thanks everybody for subscribing and liking and commenting. Really appreciate it. Does the channel well. Thanks all. See you next week. Enjoy your week.